It is no secret that I'm not a big fan of trailers. I often address my frustration with teasers that promise an experience we never get. In 100 videos I've made and counting, only once I made a direct response to a trailer, and that was well over 4 years ago. Despite various hints here and there, however, I never address my 2 cents on trailers themselves, why I avoid making trailer reactions, and how I think as gamers we should give trailers less hype than we currently do. Don't get me wrong, I don't suggest fully ignoring them, since they are a window for games we so long awaited, containing some valuable information, but to contextualize them better, in order to enhance our gaming experience. But first things first, roll the intro. The sole trailer I've analyzed and discussed in the past was the first Pokemon Legend Arceus, a trailer that showed both a new innovative concept to play Pokemon, as well as hopping going 3 frames per second. On one hand, there was the excitement for an upgrade in the game design and formula, on the other, a constant reminder that Game Freak was developing this game. I had tons of fuss about it, hence I made the video, and I'm far from being the only one. But after making the video, I realized that not only such a video would age after the game was out, but it was conceptually useless. I was addressing a game based on what I saw, not on my experience. Sure, I was commenting on things that I noticed as potential issues and potential upgrades to the gameplay formula, but I had not seen half of the game yet, let alone experienced its mechanics firsthand. All what I was discussing was based on a commercial, a promotional material, one that revealed the game, but not what's in it or how it plays. And this term is very important for today's discussion. Promotional material. We might not think about it, but a video game trailer is nothing more than a promo for an upcoming game. The core scope of any trailer is to sell something, freely showcasing what the game has to offer. This entails that a publisher has the objective to convince customers to sell an idea, what the game is, or rather will be. The scope of any trailer is to convince a player that said game might be enjoyed by them, not explicitly analyze what the game has or has not done well. There are various types of promos, from announcements to launch trailers, and each plays a specific role in the exposition of a game, with the ultimate objective to generate enough hype to convince you to buy the final product. But of course, a trailer does not show a logo and a cinematic, but also gameplay and more or less what the game will look and play when it will come out. Sure, we have seen rare examples of outrageously fake trailers, but most trailers do show the final product somewhat faithfully, if anything, in some cases like Pokemon, a little too faithfully. If I go back and see the trailer for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for instance, I immediately understand the title to be a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, with various enhancements, such as the floating world and the new powers. And this is just an example, there were and there will be trailers where practical information can be extracted. So, why am I not a big fan of reacting to trailers? To set the record straight, it is not that I do not enjoy game announcements as a whole, I'm not cynical to the point that I ignore or downplay every new game being presented. However, I do not like to share my opinion on a game that I've not experienced firsthand. To react to a trailer, either live while it's being announced or analyze it after some days when the hype calmed down, still leaves me with a feeling of doing an incomplete job. If I was asked my opinion on RGG's Project Sentry for instance, I would say that the game looks great and that I like the concept, but more than that would be pure speculation. And speculating is a double-edged sword. There are games that the public already decided are going to be a disappointment and flop. It is true that some titles show some concerning elements in their various presentations, and I'm avoiding making names on purpose, but for me to jump the start and confidently state that the title is a mess is wrong. In other words, to have an opinion on a game from its trailer is reasonable, but to have a judgment is another thing. Watching too many trailers, reactions and analysis has the negative effect of giving a false accurate depiction, and therefore a verdict on a game's quality before it's placed in the store shelves. It is not the individual trailer reaction that is harmful. Most creators enjoy discussing upcoming games and most people enjoy the discussion, but there is a fine line between exposing impressions and exposing an evaluation, and when reacting to a trailer, it is hard to walk this line. I trust that most people are in good faith when analyzing promotional material, to search hints of what the final experience could look like. However, as a YouTuber myself, I realize how easy it is to make a clickbaity statement such as "should you buy it?" and personally I do not wish to fall into this trap. Again, nothing against people who do trailer analysis. I assume they all have good intentions until proven otherwise, but doing trailer reactions is simply not my cup of tea, a risk I am not willing to take. This is not to say that I never discuss upcoming games. In fact, as I stated not once but twice in the channel, I do enjoy a good demo, especially if it's for an upcoming game. Last year I had a blast playing the Inazuma 11 Victory Road Open Beta, playing countless matches online. A demo is still a promotional tool, but one that does allow me to express a much more concrete opinion on a game, at least much more real than a cinematic cutscene can ever do. Game conventions such as the Gamescom can also give some hands-on experiences. Again, another commercial tool, but one that is much better than the alternative. Furthermore, I would feel much more at ease addressing a trailer for a remastered or remake of a game I've already played. Advance Wars Reboot Camp, being a faithful remake of a title I've played countless hours even to this day, is a good example. My reaction to the trailer would have been much more confident and insightful, even if still incomplete until I've tried the remake myself. I suppose you could include sequels on the list, but it does depend on the sequel. The example I made earlier with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom would work, because the game is built heavily on its predecessor, hence as a fan there are accurate observations to be made. However, if the sequel is brand new, then by definition we as the general public have not experienced the game, and thus we cannot make our own judgment. It's fun to speculate for sure, but if the discussion turns into a what if and it could be, then I lose interest. Having said that, I do consider the fact that trailers do have some value and shouldn't be ignored altogether. After all, it is a window to see what an upcoming game aims to be when it releases. Though I don't enjoy the idea of making a whole video about an upcoming game based only on a trailer, that does not mean that I don't have anything to say on the matter. On some occasions over my friends' channels Jump Inside Games, I took part in podcasts regarding upcoming releases. While the discussion is more speculative than analytical, it is a fun conversation to have. There is enjoyment when sharing what our hopes are with future titles, as well as addressing some potential concerns to keep our expectations down to earth. Some would argue that when reviewing a game, the trailer has to be taken as a reference point. It makes sense in some capacity, but unless the trailer were particularly misleading, I think it is better to avoid going back to promotional material when discussing a game's quality. I define Watch Dogs as the first victim of gaming hype, specifically because the game was hyped to the point that an average, even to decent review of the game was nearly not enough for many gamers due to the trailers released by Ubisoft before the launch of the title. This is an excellent example of how a trailer reaction made by me could have further misled my viewers, trusting my judgment on thin air rather than waiting for a proper review to come out. Another reason why I would hardly ever address trailers in my game reviews is that there are games that I have seen few, if not zero trailers for whatsoever. I should probably do a separate video about blind rants in general, but for this argument's sake, I have played various games without ever watching a trailer for, in some rare cases without a single clue what the game even was about. I spontaneously bought Joe Diver's Lone Wolf without knowing what the game was about, simply for the fact that I wanted to play more games developed in Italy. As discussed in my review of the game, I had a blast, and fun perhaps enhanced specifically because I had no hype of any kind before booting up the game. I did not watch any trailers, and my experience with the game gave me material for an analysis of the title that is as true as it can be. Always referring back to a trailer when analyzing a game can be pedantic. Again, trailers are commercials. Their scope is to sell an idea, not to be critical. Companies that lie by using disingenuous trailers need to be called out for sure, but let us not give trailers that much more weight to begin with. In my channel, I like to discuss the philosophy behind video games, what makes them special and unique, from how the day-night cycle is made to what fishes you can find in the digital world. Trailers are, in my opinion, not part of the gaming experience, can be entertaining but not a solid base from where to start a critical analysis. The role such trailers play in anticipation of a game release is important from a commercial point of view, not from an actual game development perspective, and in short, that is why I do not like trailer reactions. I'm not a big fan of trailer reactions, and you can rest assured that I will hardly ever do them in the future, at the very least not in the traditional trailer reaction style. Trailers have the objective to keep us excited, but let us not believe everything we see. It is crucial to contextualize their role, to enjoy them for sure, but not to give games grade before they're released. Let us discuss more about games we have now, rather than the ones that will come. If you made it this far, I wanted to thank you one too many trailers times for watching today's video. Ironically enough, the idea for this video came from watching the Pokemon Legends EA trailer, which showed positive and negative aspects from the new entry. What do you think about trailers? I wish you all a wonderful day, and until next time, arrivederci!